music plays, we invite you to close your eyes, relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Garadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Garadura Hamari. Ganapataye Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word that means community of truth. It refers to a spiritual community of two or more people when two or more come together to share their journey of awakening, transformation, and the flowering of the heart in oneness with the divine. So, Flowering Heart Satsang. It's not some official membership kind of deal. We come from different teachers and teachings, different spiritual backgrounds. We come from all over the world. We have people who join us from multiple countries and continents. And we're so glad you're here. The world needs to awaken collectively from the chaos we've created of competition, conflict, and war to a new world rooted in cooperation, harmony, and peace. That can only come about when the human heart is flowered, not just a few of us, not just a few million of us, but when the entire collective consciousness of humanity shifts into oneness. We believe that when enough individuals have awakened, the effect rippling out through the collective consciousness will tip the entire scale from competition, conflict, and violence to cooperation, harmony, peace, oneness, love. And that's what our whole life's work is about. And we're so glad that you're here. We're sharing throughout these webcast satsangs the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a direct transmission of divine grace that comes directly from the divine source. And in the receiver, it catalyzes awakening and the flowering of the heart in oneness with the divine source and with all that is. It's really a lovely thing. And it's very helpful because it speeds up. Well, it kicks it off if it hasn't begun. The journey definitely begins in earnest when you receive one of these blessings. And it dissolves blocks. It sort of greases the works. It makes things go more smoothly and more swiftly in the process of awakening. Another good thing about the Flowering Heart Blessing is that it's a free gift from the divine. And that when you receive just one of these, you're initiated to invite the divine to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you to others. So please join us tonight, because you're soaking in it right now. So if you like the energy, you enjoy the space we're sharing, just invite the divine to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you to all the other participants with us this evening, and to all those who will view this video at any time in the future. And many, many times more people watch it for various reasons later on during the week or in the weeks ahead. So keep them in your intentions as we continue to pour out the Flowering Heart Blessing to spark awakening and transformation. Anything else?
If you're on, press like or love.
If you're on, if you're not on, get on. If you're on, please give us, if you're on Facebook Live, a heart or a thumbs up or some other appropriate nice response. And we go in at the end and see who did that, and we send you extra hugs and blessings. So,
and even if you join us later in the week, it's always nice
yeah.
to see who's checking in.
Yeah, if this is Wednesday, or Thursday, or anytime between that, well, anytime in the future, because I go in and look on down the road and see who's watching, so that's fun. If you're tuning in through Vimeo, it's our primary live streaming platform, then you have to actually enter something in the chat. Say, hi, it's me, Milan. I see you. We see you here too, so you don't need to do that. Sunday was... No, it wasn't. That was a week ago Sunday. What a week it's been. Okay, never mind. I thought of... Yeah.
I would like to take a moment too, for those of you that didn't watch the webcast last week, Michael's sister passed away a week ago today, and we've really felt your support and your prayers and your love, and it's really, really helped us get through this process. So thank you very much, and any extra prayers or blessings or sentiments are deeply appreciated and felt.
Indeed. Yeah. Yes, Paul Wyman, you sent us an angry emoji. Now, there are lots of reasons to be angry, but I hope it's not us in this satsang. So maybe you met a smiley face. But Concern Moreya, who wrote, someone seems mad in the emojis. Sometimes it's just, they give you so many choices, you can hit the wrong one. There are a couple of people, I won't mention any names, and it's not you, Paul, who just typically give me either an angry emoji or one that is weeping. But that person is from a very, very difficult place in the world and is just sharing this is what they're going through. So anyway, we understand all that. I think that's it for announcements. In that case, we like to open it at this point for questions and answers on the spiritual journey. Philosophical ones are okay. We've been getting several of those that have been interesting. And sure, we'll take them and explore them. I think it's more catalytic for you if you share something that you're wrestling with in your own spiritual journey, or some insight you're getting, or something you'd like more clarity on. And then the divine pours out inspiration to Suzanne and me that we share with you, and all of us benefit from that. So that's your part to play in the satsangs. Other than you can just hang out and be here and soak up the good vibes, that's fine. So while you look inside and ask, yes, Paul said thank you. Yes, should have been a heart. Okay, well, it's not too late to change it. All you do is go down there and pick out one of those other emojis and it'll replace that sorry, angry looking one. So just go inside and ask that still small voice within, is there something that you might ask that would be a catalyst for all of us in community, or just for you? While you do that, I'm going to share some 19 quotes to keep you hopeful. And I share these little articles and lists, collections of quotes from a website called inspiringquotes.com. And some of the articles are beautiful. And the author of tonight's article and a selection of quotes is Melanie Davis McAfee. M. Davis McAfee is a freelance writer, musician, and devoted cat mom of 3 living in Southwest Kentucky. Well, she's a mom, she's a cat mom, I'm a cat dad, so we get it. I'll just share a quick quote from Mark Twain. Mark Twain famously said, "Tell me that a man loves cats, and I am his friend and comrade without further introduction." So here we go. 19 quotes to keep you hopeful. When we need it most, it's the hardest to find. Hold on to too much of it, and we risk falling prey to naivete. But carry too little hope, and we can become our own worst enemies, shielding our hearts from new possibilities. What is this paradoxical, ever-abundant, and simultaneously scarce phenomena? Hope. Indeed, hope can be one of our most powerful driving forces and our biggest downfall. It can serve as a catalyst for great prosperity, or as rose-colored glasses that shield us from life's inevitabilities. To put a not-so-simple concept simply, hope is the lifeblood of humanity. To hope is to look forward into the unknown and believe that positive things await, despite a lack of concrete evidence. In its best form, hope is a potent elixir, easing our present ailments and giving us strength to face the future. So whether we're feeling full of hope or notably devoid of it, these quotes about hopefulness serve to remind us just how important it is to hold on to or find this optimistic conviction. So here we go. When there is no hope, it is incumbent on us to invent it. Albert Camus. Hope in the shadow of fear is the world's most powerful motivator. Neil Shusterman. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Emily Dickinson. We must accept finite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope. Martin Luther King Jr. The longest way must have its close. The gloomiest night will wear on to a morning. Harriet Beecher Stowe. Hang on to your hopes, my friend. That's an easy thing to say, but if your hope should pass away, simply pretend that you can build them again. Paul Simon. Hope is the only bee that makes honey without flowers. Robert G. Ingersoll. Far away, there in the sunshine are my highest aspirations. I cannot reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty. Believe in them and try to follow where they lead. Remember that frost comes latest to those that bloom the highest. Louisa May Alcott. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Percy Bysshe Shelley. Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves. Then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. Shel Silverstein. If we will be quiet and ready enough, we shall find compensation in every disappointment. Henry David Thoreau. Hope can be a powerful force. Maybe there's no actual magic in it, but when you know what you hope for most and hold it like a light within you, you can make things happen almost like magic. Laini Taylor. Don't ever underestimate the impact you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Michelle Obama. Such is the force of this beautiful and willful conviction. It carries itself in the face of all opposition. I am never discouraged by absence of good. I never can be argued into hopelessness. Helen Keller. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Maya Angelou. 'Tis not in the high stars alone, nor in the cup of budding flowers, nor in the red breast's mellow tone, nor in the bow that smiles and showers, but in the mud and scum of things, there always, always something sings. Ralph Waldo Emerson. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. Life, it goes on. Robert Frost. Hope, or an expectation of future good, is of so extensive an influence that whether true or false, well or ill-founded, it is one of the principal springs that keep mankind in motion. Andrew Fuller. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Amanda Gorman. The poets really had that one. Mm-hmm. Yep, no question about it. Beautiful. Hope. The secular sort of understanding of hope is wishful thinking. Well, I sure hope it works. I hope we make it. You know? I hope the sun rises tomorrow. I mean, it's always this, I really don't know, I just hope so. So some sort of existentialist has said, abandon hope, just live in the here and now. Don't build your life on wishful thinking. But real hope is not wishful thinking. What a couple of these authors said is that hope is a positive and certain expectation of something good in the future, with no real evidence. There's just a knowing in the heart. Beautiful. Love it. So, looks like we got some comments here. More writes, today has been an intense collective solar eclipse day. How was your day? Well, it was a very positive, intense, collective solar eclipse day. We only had a partial eclipse here in Tampa Bay, Florida. We had 58.73% of the sun eclipsed. But we have friends that drove, we have friends in various states watching this in the total blackout zone. So we wanted to see what that looked like. So we pulled up the NASA live streaming channel, and they kept going from wherever was entering into the full eclipse. They would switch their cameras to that place, which was amazing. You could see during the full eclipse these coronal ejections. It looked like pink flames shooting out from the corona of the sun. But I said, I want to see what it looks like for the people on the ground. And then they started to show pictures of what it was like during the total eclipse. First of all, in entering into it, it was like a 360-degree sunset. Beautiful. And during the total eclipse, it became dark as night. You could see Jupiter and Venus and the people, you know, it looked like they were sitting in absolute darkness. I can only imagine what that was like. But it was cool. Make sure you wear eclipse glasses if you do something like that. And make sure they're real ones, not the fake ones, because people were selling fake ones. How could you do that? Anyway, ours were good. They worked. Yeah. Okay, Michael Christopher writes, so I've had people reach out to me online, usually in the form of an attractive person. The profiles are fake. And they offer me readings of all sorts. I had one today tell me something about me that was fairly accurate without me consenting to them telling me anything. Why would one attract that? Can they do harm of any kind? Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, there are people that are psychics, very developed psychics, and they can make psychic readings without being invited. We have friends who are very skilled and evolved tarot card readers. And this tarot is a system of initiation and spiritual transformation, but some people use it to tell fortunes. Oh, you're going to meet a tall, dark, handsome so-and-so, and you're going to fall in love, and it's going to happen a week after tomorrow, and you really should give me $20,000 now. I had a friend years ago, beautiful soul, who started going to a gypsy in New York State somewhere. And she began to tell him things that she couldn't have known unless she was a psychic or a spirit medium that was getting this information some other way. And she finally got to the point where she said, you need to write me a check for X amount of money. And he said, I'm not going to do that. And she said, then I'm going to curse you. Now, I don't know if it's because he believed the curse or not, but he went through a really hard time after that, because this particular fortune teller was obviously practicing dark magic. And so that can happen. More often than not, these false profiles, I think, are trying to kick off some kind of a weird relationship. A lot of us have gotten bunches of those, but I've never had anyone offering to give me a reading. So why would one attract that? Maybe because you've got so much light working in your life right now that there might be forces that would want to slow you down a bit so you don't help too many people. You know, why would they do that? I don't know, but there are beings like that in the universe.
I think too, if people have access to your, Facebook friends page or your interest and stuff like that, that they can kind of glean a lot about you. And that's becoming, for me, it's becoming a privacy issue because we're putting ourselves so much out there. Well, not all of us, but we can tend to put ourselves so much out there to connect with our friends and family and other special interests that can actually be turned around to create somewhat of a profile of a person. And by knowing, a little bit about profiling or putting 1 and 1 makes 2 together, they can get some pretty deep insights into who you are as a person. So when I get stuff like that on Facebook, I just ignore it. And
if it's a fake profile, report it.
Yeah, report it.
And then you'll investigate it and make sure. So it can be just a scam. It can be something else. And I know, Michael, that you are studying advanced Qigong and Neigong in Taoist internal alchemy years and years and years and years ago, so many years ago, more than 50 years ago. When I was learning the stuff that you're learning, I don't know why, well, I do know now, but there was this store that sort of fascinated me. That was the weak link for me. But this store had all this really neat stuff and imagery and jewelry. And apparently it was owned and run by a dark coven. And they seemed so sweet. They really liked me, and we had these interesting exchanges. I used to go there only because they were a few stores down from Tibetan Art Craft Imports, where Lobsang Dorje / Compassionate Thunderbolt from Tibet was my dear friend, and I loved the Tibetan art, and that's a whole other story. But I'd stop in sometimes, and this one day, and they had me just feeling they were so supportive and yummy and nice. And the lady behind the counter said, "Oh, by the way, what's your name?" I said, "Michael Milner." I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Oh, we don't tell our names. If you have a person's name, you have power over them." And I went, "What?" And it was like a cloud. And I was still learning how to be impervious to all of that. That wouldn't happen to me now. But I walked out of there feeling all this conflict and confusion, and I walked in the Tibetan store, and Lobsang Dorje looked at me from across the room, and he went, "Michael, Michael." And he picked up a Tibetan bell from Tibet, and he took a wooden ringing stick, and he rubbed the bell, and it began to fill the room with the deep, rich sound of the Om. And after he did that for a few minutes, he set it down. He said, "You feel better now?" I said, "Yeah, real better." He said, "Stay away from that place." So there are some magical practitioners that hunt power. So if they see a man of power, and they see the potential and the power within you, would like you to join their circle, because it empowers their group. So don't anybody get scared, but that's some good advice to just really know that if you're really beginning the power of the divine in the universe is beginning to flow through your life, there are some people that are idiot enough to want to try to take advantage of that. I know you, Michael, and you're fine. You're just fine. And that was the last question. Milan said, "Powerful eclipse energy." Yeah. Any other questions?
Something just popped up.
I saw.
Okay.
But I'm taking a brief little journey over here. Okay. And then back over here. Danny. Hi. Danny writes, "How can we be more impervious to any of the various dark energies, or shield ourselves from empathic exchanges?" Well, it depends on what you're involved in, but in a word, be filled with the light. If your eye is single on the divine, your body and your heart is set on the divine, your spirit, your soul, and your body are flooded with divine light. And the best way to deal with dark energies is turn on the light. I've shared this several times, and you'll probably hear me say it many more times. When we get home at night and we walk into the temple and it's filled with darkness, we don't go, "I bind you, darkness, go away. I command you." I just reach over and flip the on switch to the light. And when the light comes on, the shadows disappear. It's that way in spirit, too. So the main thing is be filled with the divine presence. Now, there are other things. I mean, there are certain kinds of energy work in yoga where people actually work on a personal level with other people's energy. And things like that. Like I was talking about Qigong. And Qigong, the practitioner is circled. Some call it a circle of light, some whatever they want to call it. It's the microcosmic orbit, the small heavenly orbit. It's a circle of light that through meditation begins to surround the practitioner. When that is in place and circulating, then there can't be any intrusion or unwanted empathetic exchanges. Usually we open the door to those things. Like when I went into that shop, I wanted the approval of these beautiful older mystics who seemed to really see me and get me and appreciate me when what they wanted wasn't me, they wanted my power, such as it was. We've got no power over anything, really. So, And there are other things you can do. We have friends that visualize triple light shields and things like that. There are rituals for drawing a circle and invoking the Kabbalistic cross ritual. There are all this stuff, but what it all comes down to, that circle, whether it's drawn on the ground or it's some light that's surrounding someone, that is the divine presence encircling and protecting a soul that is growing in the light. So,
and also dropping from your head to your heart. You know, we've said this a million times too, but just, you know, going through the process of processing Michael's sister's passing, you know, the mind and fear want to kick in, and it wants to go, well, what am I going to do tomorrow? And what do I do with this? And how do I deal with this? And what's the next step? And what if I make a mistake? And that's just all coming from the mind and fear and me wanting to control everything. And so I just have to remember to slip back into my heart, you know, take a breath and connect with the divine presence and just feel that love and feel that trust and that grace that it's all going to be all right. It's all going to be taken care of, and just surrendering it over and over and over again to the divine presence, because, you know, this grief is quite a process to move through, and the more grace we have, the more light we have, the more it dispels anything trying to be around us, or any forces, or any outside stuff. We're completely covered with grace and God always. And when we start to slip out of that peace and that space, we need to remember just to, you know, return back.
Which is a great segue to remind us, if you didn't see it, of the teaching in our communion with the Cosmic Christ about the undivided heart. Mm-hmm. A heart that is divided. A heart can have fear. A heart can be filled with doubt. A heart can be filled with passionate lusts that are not pure. So when Suzanne drops from her head into her heart, it's wonderful. But if someone has all these other things at work in their heart, it's not enough to just drop out of the mental realm into the emotional realm if it's being tainted. So again, we need to work on our hearts, but the part of our heart that is in communion with the divine, that's what she's talking about, that is pure love. And but I encourage you to listen to that teaching from a week ago Sunday called The Undivided Heart, because it shows very clearly how the human heart in its natural state at this point is divided. And part of it is blinded by the mind and the senses, and part of it is blinded by the light of God. And part of our job is to bring our heart back into union where it's completely united. There's some useful stuff in that teaching, I think. Morey writes, are we responsible for whom we attract? Oftentimes. Well, the outer world's a reflection of the inner world. So if there's unresolved conflict in me, especially if I'm not facing it and I'm pushing it into my unconscious, is going to be mirrored in the outer world to try to wake me up and get me to look at that in myself. So if we're full of fear that someone might take advantage of us or hurt us, then fear is like a magnet. It's the opposite of faith. It draws what you don't want. So if you're afraid that you're going to be robbed going home, there's a greater likelihood that you're going to be robbed going home than if you're just filled with faith that you are surrounded by the divine presence who is protecting you and taking care of you. And then you'll be drawing these light beings and people that are mirroring your yeah.
Yeah. It's all frequency. I mean, it comes down to frequency. So if you're emanating a frequency of fear, that's going to be picked up on by people. We had a friend stop by the beach last night, and she just took one look at Michael's face, and she said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I mean, she was so connected energetically to her friend that she knew that something was off. And it's that way we can usually tell, how somebody's feeling and how their day is going, because they're putting off a vibration. It's more than just body language. So when if we're anticipating some kind of an action or reaction from somebody, it can be affected by how we're feeling and what we're projecting out there. So it's always a time to reflect. If this comes up and there's somebody in your life that you're having a difficult time with, we need to go in and do the inner work and figure out why we keep manifesting these events or people in our lives. Otherwise, until we learn our lesson from it and let it go and it's healed, it's just going to keep repeating the same pattern.
So Michael Christopher says, so how can I prevent that from happening or stop anything that has happened? Well, that's a very good question. As long as there's a sense, a pattern of attractive people like approaching you and it isn't clear, then you have to go within and ask the divine grace to help show you what it is that is attracting the wrong kind of person instead of what you really want. It could be a program running, I'm never going to get the right people attracted to me, like that. How to prevent people from coming that give you readings. Often we've opened that door. I mean, have you ever, Michael, gone to someone for a reading? I know you have. And to outside sources to try to show you what you want to see. So basically, the universe could look at that and go, this guy is open to somebody from the outside giving you powerful input. And so once you're just clear that it's all within you, wisdom and love are not found. All we find is catalysts that awaken the recognition that it's all inside of us. So it's a process. And as far as removing anything that's happened, that's easy. I mean, you can do stuff, but all you really need to do is just go to prayer. Open yourself to the divine and ask the divine to clear your space and help you to see what it is that's drawing that to you. And we can talk more about it.
Sometimes it's just a matter of setting boundaries. I mean, if somebody was doing that to me, I would unfriend them or deny the posting or the friend request. There's so many things that we can do in that platform to just say, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I get lots of men on friend requests and they, their comments and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to participate in this.
Usually the first words from a friendship I never should have accepted on Facebook is a stranger saying, so how are you? And I go, well, my wife and I are great. And we've got the spiritual center and we're loving the spiritual work. Oh, so how are you? What do you do? And obviously this person, it only
clear.
takes one or two brief exchanges for me to delete that friendship.
And they may not even be a person. Could just be auto fishing. So
anyway, so there you go. But I know that if you abide under the shadow of the Almighty, that the divine will give the angels charge over you to keep you in all of your ways. No evil shall befall you, no plague will come near your dwelling, because you have made the divine your stronghold and you abide under the shadow of the Almighty in the secret place of the Most High. So, you got it. Just keep going. Alrighty then. Well, please close your eyes. We talked a little longer tonight than we might have. Close your eyes and invoke the presence. And just rest in the presence of this being of infinite love, infinite power, infinite wisdom, who loves you personally, deeply beyond your comprehension. This presence knows exactly what you need and has the wisdom and the power to get it across to you. So just open your heart and drink in the blessing of the divine presence. It shines from the center of your being to flood your spirit with light and illumination, dissolving the illusion of separation and division, bringing awakening to your heart. It shines out of your spirit into your soul, where the mind and the emotions and thoughts and the programs are percolating. And this light shining from the inside of you will dissolve the wrong thinking, will release and heal the negative emotions, and fill you with divinely inspired ideas and thoughts and feelings. It shines further into your physical body, bringing healing, release from dis-ease, and shines into your relationships, bringing healing and restoration in the relationships that surround you. It shines through all the layers of your being, spirit, soul, body, relationships, out into the world, making you a lighthouse of love and light. Just accept it, breathe it in, soak it up. There's nothing to do right now but receive. Now, we invite you to open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes. As we dive into the light meditation, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of grace and light and love, and it pours out to you through our whole being, but especially through the eyes, the doorways of the soul. It shines out through our eyes, into your eyes, through your eyes, into your heart of hearts, causing the divine love within you to burn brighter and brighter, the light of awakening to burn brighter and brighter, to shine within you. Nothing to do but just keep looking. Close your eyes now. Meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace settles within you. Now keep meditating as long as it feels nice to you. Or you could lie in Shavasana. Find a place nearby, lie down on your back with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward, and just dissolve in the presence in gratitude. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we cross paths again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you. Namaste.